Well, hello. I'm going to show you how to do my Twisted Symphony Stitch, and see if I can get it so you can see it really well. It's a really pretty stitch. I think the picture shows the stitch more, but you have a lot of nice texture. There you can see it has a ton of texture. There we go. You can see the texture, and if I get the light to pick up the stitch better, there you can see it quite a better. And the back looks like this. The back is still a nice stitch. I think maybe if I pull the stitch open, there, like that, you can see the pattern a little bit better. Let's try that on this side too. I'll just pull the stitch open and you can just see a little bit better. It's a really, really pretty stitch there. Now you're seeing the pattern more, and then there's lots and lots of texture to it. Okay, so there it is. I'm on a Cindwood loom, 3/4 inch. It is a 42 peg, 3/4 inch. That is like the Nifty Knitter large one in the set. And I have the new pegs. This is the new Cindwood loom with the new pegs. They're a little bit taller and they're a little bit thinner on the top. So this is their new pegs. The yarn I'm using is Estelle Atlantis, and it's 55% 54% superwash wool, 42% acrylic, and 2% nylon. And it has, 2% metallic. And the metallic are these silver threads that are in here. The camera's picking up a bit of shine as I move it around. This one is it's got reds and pinks and some blues and a dark navy blue. They're quite pretty. Nice to work with, and it's very washable with the superwash wool as well. And it's a bulky. It's a number 5. Okay, and what else? Oh, the loom hook. This loom hook is not made anymore, but they have similar ones on Etsy. Okay. Now, to mark the loom, I marked just the 2 end pegs on either side. We're going to do an owl eye border, so I have end pegs on either side. There are no purls in this stitch, and yeah, it's very pretty. It's a 2-row stitch, so you're going to start by using a chain cast on if you want this edge, and I will link it on my channel. All you have to do is scroll down in the description and you'll see the link for it. And then the owl eye side, I don't know if look at that, you can see it. It gives you this kind of an edge. It's kind of an interesting chainy look. Not like a slipped edge, it's a lot tighter. Okay. And if you have enough to make a project, I'll also put a link to a cast off that matches this cast on. So you'll have enough to make any project. If you want to make a project in the round, this stitch works in the round as well. You just do one round of the one stitch and then the next round of the next stitch, and then just keep going around if you did it in the round. So that should be everything you need to do a project, but this is just a stitch video, so I'm guiding you on how to make a project with it, but it's not going to be a complete video. Okay, so the first row after you do the cast on, and then do 2 rows of owl eye, and that will just set it up. And as you see, it doesn't curl. It's not curling. So the way I've set it up, it won't curl. You could, if you want to use some other stitches, feel welcome to. But I've worked it out so that you'll be able to do a project. So the first stitch we're going to do is, I have to review it, is my berries and knots stitch. Okay, so we're on peg 1. This was the end stitch. We're on peg 1, and what we do is a U-wrap on peg 1, and right after we do the U-wrap, we come around, or E-wrap I mean, then we come around in a U-wrap and knit that same peg, and we come around from the back and in front and knit that same peg again. And this berries and knot stitch is what gives us this little knot, these little knots in the work. Little cute little knots of texture. You can see it kind of here in the red one. Okay, so we do the E-wrap. So we have 3 wraps on each peg. We come around and do a U-wrap, and from the back in front again and do another U-wrap. Okay, very easy. E-wrap, U-wrap, around and the way we're going, and another U-wrap. So 3 wraps on every peg, so the work goes really, really fast. E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap. Now if you want to see this stitch, I do have just a stitch video of this stitch, the berries and knots stitch, so you can just look on my channel. It looks good all on its own. Okay, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap. Okay, and then we're just going to do the edge. Now the edge is an owl eye edge, so we're going to go over peg 1 in a U-wrap. Then from the back, we're going to go around and over peg 1 and over peg 2, knit it off, and we're going to keep that very loose. And you can even pull on this peg a bit. It's important you keep your edge stitches nice and loose so it will lay nice and flat, and your edges will be the same length as the body of the work. We go over it, making sure we're staying loose, and knit it, and knit this one. And then we do our second wrap on peg 2, like that. Okay, I just use this to hold the yarn. Okay, so then when we're coming back this way, we're going to be doing the owl eye stitch all the way. Row 2 is owl eye. So we go over peg 1, over peg 1 and 2. If you need to see owl eye, I do have lots of owl eye videos. Okay, wherever you end up, you're on peg 1. You go over peg 1 and 2. So we're going to get 2 stitches on every peg. We're on peg 1 and 2. We're on peg 1, we go in front and over peg 1 and 2. And I'm doing this fairly loosely. Okay, if you get too tight, you can just pull up on the stitches and get them all loose again. Okay, very easy. Doesn't matter how tight a knitter you are, you can loosen it up. We're on peg 1, over peg 1 and 2, and we're just going to do owl eye all the way to the end. Okay, like this. And then we come back around, and here's where we want to make sure this edge stitch is nice and loose, and knit it over, and then do our second knit on this peg. And then this row is row 1 again, and we're doing berries and knot stitch. So we're going to do a U-wrap, a E-wrap, I mean, a U-wrap, and another U-wrap. Okay, so the E-wrap and the U-wrap and the U-wrap, and that's all there is to it. Very, very easy. 2-row stitch, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap, E-wrap, U-wrap, U-wrap. So you get a little bit tight, and you see how that's harder to get over. E-wrap, U-wrap. And see, if I'm a little tight like that, I can just loosen everything up, and then it goes right over, see? And then another U-wrap. E-wrap, U-wrap, and U-wrap. And then we're at the edge, so we're going to go over peg 1, then around and back over peg 1 and 2, making sure we keep this edge stitch loose, over peg 1 and 2, second wrap on peg 2, and then first wrap on this peg. We're doing owl eye all the way across again. Okay, so that's all that there is to it, and you just keep going as long as you want to with this stitch. I really like this stitch. Depending on the yarn you use, it shows the pattern more, and it has an amazing amount of texture. And I called it berries and knots because it looks like either berries or knots, the little knots that it makes in the work. It's just really, really cute. I'm glad it's showing here because of the color. Hard to see it, but even here on the dark you can see some of them. And it just comes out in these little knots. I can see it really well. It's just that it's not picking up the light very good because of all the navy in it. But it does pick it up in this row, so you can see. There you go. You see all the little berries and knots here? It's a very, very cute stitch. Okay, so that's all you need to know to do the stitch. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a lot of fun doing this stitch. So until next time, bye.